A lot of people don't talk about these kinds of things. So I thought that I would because I think that there are important things to explore. Um, Most people really, I think, take their health for granted. And I know I'm not saying that just to be like condescending or I'm so much better than you are because I think about these deep thoughts. No, I really think that in general, you live your life, you think about your bank account or your car insurance or, what you're going to have for lunch and what tasks you need to accomplish for the day. And you don't really think about your health. Um, People say, oh, I want to eat healthy or a lot of people work out and do this or that in order to be healthier. But nobody really considers what it might be like if you didn't have your health. And it's definitely when you get hit with the condition, um, it's it's a loss to not have the the ability to do the things that you used to do. Um, I was diagnosed in 1997 with bipolar disorder. I was 15. I'm pretty sure I've had it all of my life. I was likely one of the rare cases where um, people get it in childhood. I know that I had my first definitely marked mania when I was 12, which not coincidentally was probably not coincidentally was around the time a few traumatic events happened to me. I had a lot of trauma in my childhood, but especially around that time, things were really difficult. So I think that that probably fed into it as well as, things like hormones and whatnot. So I've always had that to deal with. And that's one of the reasons why I weigh so much. Bipolar meds, if I wasn't on them, I'd probably be at least probably about 80 to 100 pounds lighter. Um, and a lot of people will say, well, you just need to work out more, you just need to eat less. And it's not about that. They don't realize bipolar meds actually, and a lot of other psych meds, affect your metabolism, they affect your appetite, they affect your energy levels. So they really hit you three ways. You're pretty much set up to fail. I know very few people who have been able to successfully keep their weight down while on psych meds. And that's definitely probably one of the biggest complaints. There's a lot of side effects that you have to deal with. I know, for instance, my antidepressant makes me really sweaty. So I'll just start sweating. A lot of times in a video, you'll see me going like this. I'm actually wiping sweat off my face. It's ridiculous. It doesn't help that I live in like Dante's Inferno. It's probably like the Central Valley of California, so it's really hot here. But I do have air conditioning, and I still get sweaty. But a lot of people get the weight gain. I think is the biggest one, especially for women. I see, and I know myself, I see a lot of people going off their medication in order to lose weight. And I know that I used to do that. Or I searched for a lot of years to find a medication that would work for me, but not cause weight gain. And unfortunately for me, I'm allergic to several medications. And I had a lot of really nasty things happen to me, including getting covered in hives from one of the medications, which could have been a fatal issue that I had. So, and I really had to, at one point, make a choice. What's more important to me? Is it more important to me to be thin, or is it more important to me to be sane? And it does come down to that for a lot of people, and for me as well. Um, I always That was a really hard choice to make, and that I always have had body issues, and that definitely um, was a really, really, really hard choice to make. And I eventually did it for my family and for my children, as well as for myself. But um, I didn't think that it was fair to anyone else, my husband and my children especially, with um, me not being able to function as a normal human. And I started taking lithium, which does have some weight gain, but I didn't actually gain too much on it. I just was unable to lose the pregnancy weight that I had gained, which was only like 15 pounds from my third child. Um, and then about 6 months into taking lithium, I started getting these headaches, and they were really really painful. And I've always gotten headaches. I had been diagnosed with a couple of different conditions. Mainly, they thought that it was just TMJ. It turns out that I actually have fibromyalgia, and TMJ goes along with that. I also have occipital neuralgia from an accident, a car accident that I was in, which is your occipital nerves they're like right back here in the very back. I don't know if you can see where my hand is, but they're right back there. There's one there, and then there's one on the other side, and that's where your occipital nerves are, and they affect all this in your face, all these areas, and then you also have muscles that go right along here that are affected, and then behind the eyes also. So the occipital nerves are very important, and they connect to a lot of different things, and when they're screwed up, it's basically like when I get a flare up, it's just like I hurt from here to here, and sometimes in my shoulders, and then down into my arms and my fingers. I also have carpal tunnel, peripheral neuropathy, which is like a tingling and pain sensation in your arms, hands, legs, and feet. And then I also have a bad knee from just the way I'm aligned. I have a flat foot. So I have patellofemoral syndrome on my right knee, and I need to get knee surgery before I can start working out again. I really miss doing yoga. I was really into Bikram yoga for a lot of time, and I was really into yoga for a lot of years. And I rode horses, and I was a runner, and I was really, really active, and I really miss that. And that's definitely a loss, and it's something that people don't think about. What would happen if you lost your health? And my headaches ended up being, long story short, they ended up being actually from lithium. Possibly. The lithium may have caused a condition that I've been diagnosed with now. It's called intracranial hypertension. It used to be called Pseudotumor Cerebri. So, women who are of childbearing age, who are pregnant or just had a baby, or were on birth control, are in the highest risk group for getting this particular illness. It's very rare. It only affects, in the highest risk group, women of childbearing age. It's 20 per 100,000. It affects 1 in 100,000 of the general population. And essentially, what it is that I do not absorb spinal fluid correctly. So it builds up and puts pressure on the brain and the optic nerves, and that's what was causing the headaches. It eventually got to the point where I had a headache so severe that I went immediately to the ER. I thought that I was dying, or that I had a brain tumor or meningitis, or I didn't know, but I've had migraines, and this was worse. This was worse than natural childbirth. I mean, I've never, to this day, um, felt pain quite that intense. They were even giving me IV narcotics in the hospital, and it barely even touched it. And it went away after a day, and then following that, I had about a month of blurry vision, blurred vision, or double vision, I should say, blurry double vision actually. And it took about a year for it to get better. About 6 weeks of a medication until I could even see again. So that was a huge blow, and that combined with finally being diagnosed with fibro, and it definitely affects my life in a way that it's really hard to explain to somebody who doesn't have health problems. You think about all the things that you do, all the things that you do that seem easy, like doing your laundry, cooking yourself some dinner, driving to the store to get a pack of cigarettes. I mean, simple things like that are sometimes things that I can't do. There are some days that I spend all day stuck in bed. And, I have 3 kids to take care of, and that's really hard. Luckily, I have a lot of help. I have my husband and I have a roommate, and he helps out a lot, and my husband also helps whenever he's home, and I'm still able to do a lot of things, and um, they've finally gotten me on a good regimen of medication, so it's fairly well controlled now. But I definitely spent a huge portion of time where I was not able to do normal tasks and live my normal life, and that was really, really hard. And the hardest thing about it was as I started to gain weight because I was moving less. Um, I was a lot bigger than I'm used to being, and I've never been this size before. Um, and as much as I am all about accepting oneself the way that you are, and I think that there's a lot of distortions in the media in terms of how unhealthy it is to be overweight, and yet they, of course, have all these unhealthy diet products which are just as bad for you. It's actually, studies have shown that it's worse for you to lose weight and gain it and lose weight and gain it than it is to just be fat. The secret to health, a lot of new studies are now showing, is just to be active and eat good food. A lot of people don't consider how important your diet is as well as your activity level. And that's the thing that's difficult about having chronic pain and having low energy, is that it's difficult to get the energy to exercise. And ironically, that's one of the things that will give you more energy. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. It's like if you're too tired to exercise, then you're not going to make it out there, but yet the exercise is what's going to make you less tired. So it's like kind of a paradox in a way. And I just wanted to get all that out there because I think these are a lot of things that people don't think about. What if one day you woke up and you weren't this the same person that you were before, health wise? What would you do? What would it be like? It's almost like, for me, sometimes I feel like I'm trapped in this body that it's like it's broken and it doesn't belong to me. I want a new one. Someone fix it. Give me a new one because this one sucks. Um, but that's part of my life and that's what I deal with. So I think a lot of people can probably relate. So I thought I would make an entry about that. Oh, so serious. Um, anyway, that's about all I have to say.